This is a video about the part of fortune. In your horoscope there are many planets in certain signs and you possibly have some familiarity with them. But there's a symbols in some horoscopes. It's not always shown, so you may not have this in the printed version that you have. It's a symbol where there's a cross, an X within a circle. It's just called part of fortune. Its original name was Pars Fortuna, and it's called one of the Arabic or Arabian parts. Now these Arabian parts are made of a calculation done between three different points or planets. We don't really concern ourselves very much with most of them, but this particular one, the part of fortune, seems to be quite popular and very useful in some ways. And it's a composite calculation involving the position of the sun and the moon and the ascendant, which are very essential. Perhaps the essence of a chart reading depends upon those three factors. So you can see why the part of fortune is more popular than the other Arabic parts, of which there are very many indeed. So let's focus on the part of fortune. Its meaning is where we find success, happiness and joy. In other words, good fortune, very often to do with good luck. So in a word, it's how we make our own luck, how we turn around our lives to turn an unlucky situation into one which is lucky. The calculation is a little bit complex, so I've drawn up some charts and we'll go through that rather slowly. And I'll also cover in the briefest sense, the meaning of your part of fortune. So I think I'll do that first. So if you know your part of fortune, just think about what sign it's in. I'm not going to talk about the houses, just the signs. And you think about the essence of the zodiac signs and apply these to the idea of what brings you success in your life or happiness. And it's quite often a good clue to the kind of career choice you might want to make. Now, of course, as is typical in all horoscope interpretation, there are other factors to take into account rather than the essence of the symbol itself. So part of fortune, if for example conjunct one of the planets, will take on the flavour of that planet, or in any aspect. It will also take on the flavour of its house position, and also we can consider the ruler of the sign in which the part of fortune shows. So if you're talking about part of fortune in Capricorn, for example, you think about Saturn as also being indicative of what may give you good luck. If your part of fortune is in Taurus, then Venus, being the planetary ruler of the sign Taurus, Venus would be more likely to be associated with your good fortune. So in Aries, if your part of fortune is in Aries, then intuition is important to you and boldness. So if you strike out when you feel, yes, I want to do this, and you go for it, that's the kind of Aries energy. That's considered to be a good success strategy. In Taurus, what's important, if your part of fortune is in Taurus, then what's important is to have a very firm foundation, very solid base upon which you can build. You tend to plod rather than accelerate or go quickly for any sustained period of time. Taurus likes plodding. In Gemini, the part of fortune suggests communication will be the thing that you need to get right, and to have some adaptability. If you can maintain an adaptable attitude, that would be favoured. In Cancer, we're looking for a strong sense of nurture. So if you can find an avenue in your life where you can express nurture, if you don't have a family, you might want to get a pet or take care of somebody else's children. So that ability to develop the quality associated with Cancer of taking care of and belonging to someone. In Leo, leadership is indicated, but not all leadership is the same. The Leo type of leadership is, this will be fun, let's do this. It's kind of playful, it's charismatic, and creativity is supported, of course, in Leo. So if your part of fortune is in Leo, then try to be a bit more creative and take the opportunity to suggest to people what might be a good idea. Let's do this. Try that. In Virgo, your part of fortune suggests you need to take things exactly so. Get your house in order. Be exactly right. Take care of the details. You cannot be sloppy and hope to succeed. If your part of fortune's in Virgo, you have to get it right. Precisely right. In Libra, fairness, justice. I want this, you want that. Let's find the appropriate balance, the nice balance between two things, me and you, usually. Part of fortune in Scorpio suggests that it's better for you to be intensely involved in something, passionate, full on, and try and transmute the baser energies in life to something more spiritual. So it does indicate an inclination towards going deeply into self-reflection, self-analysis, self-transformation, and to find the truth deep down within this sort of the hidden stuff, the dark stuff. Find that. That will then release the block to your success and happiness. In Sagittarius, the part of fortune would suggest adventure. Gambling, it might be lucky for you, but in a sense, adventure is a gamble. We don't know what lies ahead. Traveling is another thing which is supported by a Sagittarius part of fortune. In Capricorn, you're going to want to work hard. You're going to be self-disciplined. You're going to have a long-term goal. Many, many years ahead, you're going to say, right, I'm going to do that, and take a decade to achieve it. That's the kind of thing that will bring really good luck. In Aquarius, the part of fortune suggests innovation. Taking the intuition that you have about how things could be done better and trying that. Just see if you can introduce a new way of doing something differently. In Pisces, the part of fortune is more mystical. And here we have a deep sense of interconnectedness to the universe, all and everything. Dreams, perhaps, or psychic knowledge which cannot be measured or proven. Trusting that would take you into an area of better fortune. Now, when we work out the part of fortune, we're going to get to the particular degree, as long as you know your ascendant. So if your time of birth is good, is accurate to the degree, then the part of fortune will be that accurate as well. But if your ascendant is not known, not exactly known, then equally the part of fortune won't be exactly known. And therefore the Sabian symbol of the part of fortune, we might have to look at 2 or 3 possibilities, or even more if your time of birth is very uncertain. And I've made some attempt to deal with this in the rectification video. If you don't know your time of birth, there's a video that I've made on how to rectify your time and work out what to do to find your ascendant and therefore the part of fortune accurately. Now, I've created 2 documents which are available for you to look at, and we can go through them together to show you the calculation. Easier to show you than to tell you. So the first example, Jane. She was Sagittarius Sun, Pisces Moon, Aquarius Ascendant. And what I've done here is converted these degrees of the zodiac into something called absolute longitude. And I've got a little calculator here so that you can actually make that adjustment. It just means that instead of saying 2 degrees Taurus, it's 32 degrees absolute, or 3 degrees Gemini, it's 63 degrees Gemini. We're taking 0 Aries as 0, and then we're going around and counting 360 degrees and just calling them by the degree name. So instead of Pisces 5, it's 335. Get the idea? So we convert the degrees and minutes of the ascendant, sun and moon into absolute. Now then what we need to do is to enter the sun's position, whether or not it's above the horizon or below the horizon. Now that horizon represents dusk till dawn, a sun underneath that line, the ascendant-descendant line, means you were born at the night time. Above the line, you were born in the daytime. And we calculate the part of fortune differently according to the nighttime sun and the daytime sun. So think about this. Is your sun in the 1st house to the 6th house, one of those 6? You were born in the nighttime. 7 to 12, you were born in the daytime. So I'm first of all going through a daytime sun calculation. So in this chart, Jane was born Sagittarius 1550, Pisces moon, ascendant Aquarius. So we can see with Jane's chart, she's got sun, moon and ascendant converted to absolute degrees, 255, 341 and 324. What position is her sun in? If we look at her chart, we see the sun's in the 10th house. So she was born in the daytime. If the sun is above the horizon, in other words, the ascendant-descendant axis, if the sun is above the horizon, you're born in the daytime. So, stage 3, we add the ascendant to the moon, because it's a daytime calculation, it's that way around. The nighttime calculation is a different way around, and I'll come to that. Ascendant plus moon, 324 plus 341, gets a total of 665. Now, if we look at the sun and the sun would be bigger than that total, we would have to adjust it by 360, just to sort of centre it in the circle. But it isn't in this case. 665 less the sun's degree of 255 gives us 409. Now, if that's bigger than 360, we need to take off the 360, and we get 4924, the absolute degree. Now, that's Taurus 1924. 49 less 30 is 19 of the 2nd zodiac sign, which is Taurus, 1924, whose Sabian symbol is Taurus 20. Different example. I've put my own chart here. I was born at, British summertime, about 1 o'clock. So I'm a nighttime baby. Taurus 1538 converts to 4538. The moon is at 5609 absolute, the ascendant 28120. My sun is in the 3rd house, so a nighttime calculation. Here we add the sun and the ascendant together, and we get 326. And then we take off the moon, 5609. Again, making that adjustment if necessary, which it isn't for me. So we get to that part of fortune calculation of 270 degrees in absolute terms. If we convert that from absolute, we get Capricorn 0 degrees 49. So my part of fortune is in the 1st degree of Capricorn. Sabian symbol, Indian chief demands recognition. So it's no small thing to know your part of fortune. It's the path to success, happiness and joy. It's one of the key indicators, in a sense, of how to make your decisions about what to do with your life. Now, we know the midheaven is also to do with that. We tend to make our career decisions according to what society wants of us. And the midheaven is rather a lot to do with that. It's our social role. And a lot of people define themselves as their social role. What are you? I'm an astrologer. Well, I'm not. I'm a man. I'm a man who does astrology. So it's not necessary to have the career in keeping with the midheaven. If you have the career in keeping with the part of fortune, very likely that you might enjoy good luck. That's the meaning of the symbol. Of course, the North Node is also another indicator of what might be your life path. So we've got 3 indicators there of directional intention. Slightly different interpretations, of course. One is very social, one is very worldly and self-oriented, and one is quite spiritual. Now, once you know the part of fortune suggested Sabian symbol, have a feel about that, have a think about that. Does it feel right, or doesn't it? If it doesn't, have a look at the adjacent one, and maybe that's your part of fortune, because your time of birth may be wrong. So in other words, not only do we use the part of fortune to understand how to progress successfully in life, we can also use it in order to rectify the horoscope if the birth time is not accurately known. And this is very helpful indeed. To rectify your time of birth is really a requirement to study Sabians at the deepest level, because otherwise 5 of the major points in your chart, midheaven, nadir, ascendant, descendant, and the part of fortune, are simply unknown to you. So we can work from a known birth time to get those 5 points, or we can look at those 5 points to infer the accurate birth time. And I've done the video on rectification to explain how that works.